Hello, I'm Dr. Jim Taylor, and welcome to Prime Business Alert. In this segment of Prime Business Alert, we explore whether you are a stress victim or a stress master. Stress is a truly unpleasant, potentially harmful, and decidedly unavoidable part of life in the business world. It just comes with the territory of climbing the corporate ladder. Yet, whether stress interferes with or facilitates your efforts in that climb depends on how well you understand it, your attitude toward it, and the tools that you have at your disposal to master the stress. Despite its ever-presence in the business world and the seemingly ubiquitous stress management programs offered by so many companies, few business people have a thorough sense of what stress is, how it impacts them physically, psychologically, socially, and in their work efforts, and what they can actually do to ensure that it helps rather than hurts their professional and personal lives. Most basically, stress is a psychological, emotional, and physical reaction to internal or external demands that are placed on people. Our stress reaction has been hardwired into us for as long as we've been humans to help us survive. Back when we were cave people, the increased heart rate, blood flow, and adrenaline gave us the strength to battle or run from, that's the fight or flight response, hostile tribes and wild animals, and to stay alive during periods of natural disaster and famine. The reality is, though, that we rarely face such stress-inducing hardships anymore. Because we aren't attacked by saber-toothed tigers very often these days, the stress we experience in modern times is due more to the perceptions of the experiences we have than to the experiences themselves. Nevertheless, stress still does threaten us at a psychological, social, and performance level. Despite what many people think, stress is actually an important and highly adaptive response to the challenges that we face every day, at least to a point. Stress helps us respond physically by giving us more energy and endurance when confronted with the often exhausting schedules that business people must keep. Stress also sharpens our thinking and focus for the intellectual demands we face in the business world. The demands we're confronted with and the stress we feel are usually quite manageable. But when the demands grow and they begin to exceed our capabilities and resources to deal with them effectively, then stress becomes debilitating. Think of the demands that you face in the business world. Internal demands can include the perceptions you hold about your abilities, the goals and expectations you have, and the worries and fears that you feel. External demands can consist of time pressure, financial concerns, work conflict, or excessive workloads. Stress has become so woven into the fabric of the corporate world that many people have lost sight of what it is and what it is not. Stress is a normal part of any environment that's driven by high goals and expectations. And as I just noted, it is usually more helpful than harmful. A mistake that many people make is to confuse hard work with stress. There are two things about hard work that can cause this confusion. Hard work is hard, and it's work. And I think that many business people like to talk about how stressed they are because it makes them feel just a little bit heroic, when in fact, what they're doing is just the job they've signed on to do. Stress goes beyond normal life and hard work when you no longer have the ability to manage it effectively. We all have a threshold we reach when stress turns harmful. When we cross that line, several red flags go up. We feel psychologically overwhelmed and emotionally vulnerable. The quality of our work declines. Our health deteriorates. We lose our enjoyment and motivation in our work, and our general quality of life decreases. When you can check off each of those 5 items, then you can say with confidence or trepidation that you are experiencing debilitating stress. The causes of harmful stress at work are myriad. At the same time, there are some causes that I have found to be most evident in the workplace. Psychological causes including habitual negativity, perfectionism, fear of failure, lack of control, and poor time management and organizational skills. Personal causes include poor physical health, financial problems, and non-work issues such as relationship problems. Work-related causes include job insecurity, insufficient knowledge, skills, and resources, and personality conflicts. When you've crossed that line past hard work, the stress will cause you to experience a wide variety of symptoms. Because of the direct attack on your mind and body that stress places on you, your stress will manifest itself in a variety of ways. Physical symptoms can include physical illness due to immune system failure, physical complaints including headaches and stomach aches, sleeping problems, either insomnia or frequent waking, and changes in appetite, either loss of or increased appetite. Cognitive symptoms can include lost confidence, excessive negativity or self-criticism, or unrealistic expectations. Emotional symptoms include moodiness, sadness, anger, or inappropriate or excessive expressions of emotions. Social symptoms can include withdrawal or conflict. Finally, performance symptoms that include loss of motivation, performance anxiety, lack of enjoyment, or a decline in productivity. Now, stress can either facilitate or interfere with your work performance based partly on a fundamental distinction in how you perceive those demands that are placed on you. Specifically, do you interpret the stress as being a threat or a challenge? Threat stress is usually connected to self-esteem. The demands threaten your sense of competence and value personally and professionally. The demands are not only uncomfortable, all stress is to some degree, but also burdensome. The stress is persistent and often overwhelming. You also feel that you have little control over the stress, and it ultimately leads to either physical or psychological breakdown. In contrast, challenge stress is seen as affirming your self-esteem. Your perception of your ability to handle the stress is actually validating of your competence and value. The stress inspires and motivates you to see the demands as challenges to overcome rather than threats to avoid. Not surprisingly, this mindset reinforces your belief that you have control over the demands, and it actually energizes you to confront the demands directly. Ultimately, challenge stress raises the level of your game, enabling you to be more productive. You should think of stress much as you would the thermometer and thermostat in your home. You know when the temperature in your home is comfortable and when it gets too hot. In the latter case, you adjust the thermostat to a more comfortable level. The same applies to your stress level. You know when your stress is at a comfortable level and you can manage it effectively. You also need to recognize when your stress level is too high. When that happens, you need to adjust your stress thermostat, that is, reduce the demands that are causing the stress, or increase your resources to mitigate those demands. In both cases, your stress lessens. You have three choices in how you perceive your ability to respond to the stress you experience. First, you can see yourself as a stress victim, where you suffer from stress, you're controlled by stress, the quality of your work deteriorates, and you experience depression and anxiety. Plus, you have an escape motivation where you just want to get away from the stress. A stress manager, it's a little bit better, but still not great. It's where you're responding to the stress, but mostly reactively, so there's little sense of control. You're getting by, you're hanging on, but ultimately there's going to be a breakdown. Finally, you want to be a stress master, where you have a positive attitude toward the stress, you prepare for the stress proactively, you feel in control of the stress, you accept the stress as normal, and you in fact thrive on the stress. So when you know it's coming, you can do something about it. Your goal, of course, is to become a stress master. In the next two segments of Prime Business Alert, I'll introduce you to the specific attitudes and strategies you need to become a stress master. Until then, keep cool, calm, and collected. I'm Dr. Jim Taylor for Prime Business Alert.